All right. Hello, everybody. So this is section 1.1, points, lines, and planes. So there's quite a bit of vocabulary to kind of introduce stuff that you've heard before, but we'll kind of introduce it anyway. So I think we all know what a point is. Point's just a point. Doesn't have any dimension to it. It's just a point. A line has two dimensions. With arrows or arrowheads. So I oftentimes will just kind of put the highlights of the definition. If you want to look at the formal definition out of the book, it is on page 4. Okay, that looks bad. Page 4. So if you have a line like this, so it has the two arrows at the end, meaning it does go on forever and ever in those directions. And you needed to name this line. You could name it a ton of different ways. So you could say A, B, but you put the two little arrows above the top of it. You could say A, C. You could say B, C. You could reverse the order of all of these. You just need two letters, or excuse me, 2 points that are on the line, and it doesn't have to be the ones on the outside or anything like that, but any 2 points that are on the line. Every once in a while, and these are always like capital letters for points. That's kind of a distinction that needs to be made. But you could have, every once in a while, you'll see a line and it has a lowercase, it'll always be lowercase, up at the end of the arrow like that, or it could be on the other side. And so you could say line A like that, if you were just identifying that line. So in some of the assignment that you'll see today, you'll have to figure out, in order to say label this line in another way, and there may be 5 different ways you can do it, so there's going to be more than one correct answer. Okay, a plane, well, that's really sloppy. Is made up of 3 non-collinear points. So collinear, this right here, collinear would mean same line. So a plane is 3 points that are not on the same line. And it has 2 dimensions. So it's like a wall or a floor, a piece of paper, something that it doesn't have like depth to it. It just has like length and width to it. So if we were in my classroom, I always talk about the planes as being the walls and the ceiling and the floor. So they oftentimes in the book will look like a rectangle sometimes, or a parallelogram. Okay, and so you could have point A, a point B, a point C. So I could not draw a line and connect all 3 of those, so they make a plane. And every once in a while, you'll have another letter kind of off in the corner, but you notice there's no point next to it. So we could label this as plane ABC, or actually the order doesn't matter, so scramble up the letters as much as you want. Or we could say plain M, just using the one letter that's off in the corner. So a lot of your assignment is just going to be looking at a figure and naming something in a different way, or name 4 points, name 2 lines, name a plane that contains points ABC. So you're just looking at a particular shape and you're identifying different things from it. It's not super difficult in my opinion, but let's look at an example real quick to go over some of that. Okay, so sometimes these drawings aren't always super simple to do. And this drawing is in your book. I try to use some of the same drawings just so that if you're not clear about something, you can look in the book for maybe a better picture than I was able to draw. But hopefully you'll get better. I'm going to use a different letter over here at drawing some of these things. Okay. So it might say 2 other names for line PQ. So which is that one that's kind of going up and down through the plane. So remember, the easiest one would be to just reverse the letters. And then the other one is there is that little lowercase letter at the end there. So that means I could say line N. And there it is, named 2 different ways. So you could have one that says name 3 points that are collinear. So 3 points that are on the same line, S, P, and T. Okay, so hopefully nothing too difficult to look at, but it'll just be different pictures saying, can you do this, can you do that, okay? So let's go back and identify a few more terms. So we have that was bad. Segment. Which is just part of a line. So I'll use that same picture from the other one. And so a segment, we could say the segment AB And notice there are no line or arrows at the edge of that. So it's just what that is telling you is from A to B, and that's it. It doesn't keep going forever. So you could have all the same, segments that we did, lines on the other one, and you could reverse the order. The order doesn't matter when you're talking about a segment. Most of the time the book tends to write them in alphabetical order, but sometimes they don't, but that's okay. All right, so you might see also not just segment, but it might be written as line segment. There really isn't a difference, but don't want you to see it one way one time and another way another time and think that it's something different. So technically, A and B, they have endpoints. So it's just the A and the B. So if we did an endpoint there, endpoint there. So if you see those word endpoints, it's just the point where the A and the B are. Okay? All right. So another term is array. An array has an endpoint, and then it does keep going forever in the other direction. Okay, so if we had, again, that same picture, and this one is a little bit different in its meaning. So I could say array AB like that. Notice there's an arrow on one side and not on the other. And so what we're saying is starting at point A and going toward point B forever. So if I said AB, starting at A, going toward B forever, and I also said AC, those are really the same part of that line because they both start at A and they both kind of go in the same direction. Okay, so now when we did segments and lines, I said, well, just reverse the order and you're good. Completely different here. Okay, so if I did BA like that, that means starting at B and going toward A. So if I did AB in blue, it would be talking about here and going like that. But if I'm doing BA in red, it's talking about here and going like that. So it's different. Okay, the order absolutely matters when we're talking about rays. Okay, but so it's kind of weird, with this second one, the red one, the BA, when, the arrow, sometimes this trips people up, but the arrow is going to the right, when you draw it, there. But in the picture, it's going to the left. So try not to get too tripped up on that. It's just saying starting at this first letter B, going toward the A forever. I don't suppose that it's technically wrong to do that, but you won't see it that way in the book ever. So it'll be like with the red circle. It's always, the arrows always go to the right. They don't ever write it like this. So probably not a good idea to get in the habit of doing that because it can get you messed up. Okay, so then we have something called opposite rays, and they have a common endpoint. So using the same picture, BA and BC are opposite rays. Okay, so I'm going to do a little green like thing here. But they start at B, go toward A, start at B, go towards C. So they are going to make a line. Okay, so you wouldn't have an opposite ray being like that. Yeah, there's a common endpoint, but they need to go in opposite directions. So one goes to the right, the other one would have to go straight to the left. So they do want to make a line out of that. Okay, so again, you'll have some problems. Again, you're looking at a picture where, again, you're just going to name stuff. What's another way of naming this ray or that ray? So if I said, what's another way to name ray AB, you could say AC, like in that very first part. So just, I don't think there's anything super difficult. And then the last few problems that you'll have, it's just going to ask you to draw some stuff. So I'm not super like crazy about like it's got to be perfect. This isn't art, but you do need to kind of practice drawing certain things. And so it's all about intersecting. So a plane intersecting a line and different things like that. So just do the best you can on that. I'm not super worried about the last section. Just give it a shot. Do the best you can, and that'll be good. So, all right. Just make sure, draw the pictures if you would on your assignment, and so you're not just listing answers. It's good to practice kind of drawing some of those, and then honestly, there really isn't a lot of work to show on this assignment, so you'll just be like redrawing like the letters. So I've posted the answers. Obviously the odd ones are in the back of the book, but we may not even have books yet. But the answers are posted on the school website in the geometry class for the whole chapter. So you're going to have to sort through to find page 8 to check your answers. So tomorrow on the Zoom call, if you had any questions, we can go over those. And that way you know which ones you got right and which ones you got wrong. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Good luck, everybody. Have a good one.